Boy, that was quick. Now, I just got these figures from the McFarlane toy store. That's why I order from them. They really ship out fast sometimes, depending on whatever they release. But these figures did come out pretty quick. They shipped the day I got it when it was released. I think it was last Wednesday. So now I'm here to do a review. Not going to spend too much time within the packaging because I did post a video about that last week. But I'm also just gonna add in here is that McFarlane was cool to throw in a free figure. I guess it was a damaged one. It was the Batman from the Solomon Grundy. Unfortunately, it wasn't the Mr. Freeze, Chase Platinum figure, but I guess I can just sell that and help pay off the scalper prices because people have already been selling multiples of that, which really sucks. But hopefully I'll find that figure down the line. Maybe I'll be able to do a review. Maybe not. I don't know. Okay, first I'm going to start off with my favorite character from the Dark Knight trilogy, Scarecrow, because I think I have a thing just going for the underdogs or something. I don't know, but he was a character I feel like that was very much unutilized. Even though he appears in all three films, I love that. But I also kind of wanted to go over the cards just before I jumped into the figure. Is that all these cards are pretty much photos from marketing, except for Scarecrow. He was the only one that was actually having to get a photo taken for the figure, because they never made an artwork for him. But like Harvey Dent, he's gonna have an actual picture of the Aaron Eckhart's character, and this was like the promo stuff when the movies were coming out. Why So Serious? I remember this was all over the place. And then this is kind of a strange one with Batman. I think this was kind of like that old styles that they used for the toys for marketing. So that's kind of there. So just another thing I wanted to point out. But now on to Scarecrow. Now Scarecrow, he is just a fantastic looking figure. I was just really, really excited for this figure when it was first announced. But this has a very nice sculpting detail on his like stretcher jacket, where he's all insane. It kind of came all the way down here, and this was a awesome look for it. I love the detail on here, the weathering across the straps that are just hanging loose. Like, this is pretty nice. And then you get that suit that he has for most part of the movie. And yeah, like up close, here is the head sculpt, and this has the worms and maggots. I know in my video when I was talking about this a few days ago, I thought that it was a regular mask head, and I was saying that I hope they do make a version with the worms and such and maggots all over the mask. But that is this version. So it's an alright looking head sculpt. I also would hope that we'd see a Cillian Murphy head, but I think there's an opportunity here to release another Scarecrow figure. But I'll get into that in a minute. The head sculpt here, though, it's an alright. I'm not a fan of the rope here. I think it's just too bright. I think this needed to be weathered down a little bit as well. That's kind of just, to me, Seems a little too cartoony. It seems like they did the similar thing with the Solomon Grundy Build-A-Figure with that rope just being a kind of a wrong color, I think, for it. But this is a nice looking sculpt regardless. I think the mask could have done a little bit of work. I mean, obviously, if McFarlane does do a powered down version in the future, we could see an upgraded kind of head sculpt. It's not too bad though. It's kind of, you get used to it a little bit. The figure does have this nice suit here. It's got a lot of nice texture and detailing in here. I love this. And it's very different. It's kind of like that slim leg fit. It's definitely different compared to like Two-Face. When the figure was first announced, I immediately thought about using my Dark Knight Returns horse for this figure. And that is 100% what I am going to be doing. Because this figure deserves to be like this. He needs a horse. That's how he appears in the movie. There's no other, image him showing walking around like this. He is always riding the horse. He gets electroshocked. He says this really cool thing, there's nothing to fear but fear himself. He is fear. He is awesome. This is how this figure should be displayed. I don't know if McFarlane's going to make another horse with like Gotham PD or something on it, because, you know, Satchel ain't perfect, but I just think that this is a perfect combo for this figure. Scarecrow now next to the Movie Masters version that came out during the Dark Knight, when that was getting released. And this is going for basically the same look, but the new one is obviously much more taller and has more of a sculpt, and this had a powered down mask. So I don't know, I hope that one day McFarlane will do a version that kind of looks more like this, kind of more just, you know, a little bit more lighter in tone, because the new one I think is darker, but I think that was the point of that. And it went for the same thing, you know, it was a suit underneath, you know, here it was going here, but, you know, we have a nice button up here. I think this is a lead up to a very good potential Scarecrow figure. Here's Scarecrow next to the Mafex Scarecrow one. Just for reference, that's what I'm talking about. Hopefully we get to see something like that also coming from McFarlane. The Joker. Now, Joker here is a pretty good figure. I mean, he comes with all this money. This is actual an image of how much money I've spent on McFarlane toys since he started, right? But yeah, no, for real though, like this is actually really awesome. This is a really cool sculpt of money here. I mean, obviously there's no detailing on top of it showing like dollar bills or anything. It's, you know, individual bills, you know, you could tell. It's really nice though. I love it. I think this is a nice throw in. I want more of this. And if you smell it, it just, instead of smelling like money, it smells like where my money goes most of the time anyway. Nice plastic toys. But the Joker though himself is a pretty alright figure. The head sculpt is much better in person than what I thought it was going to be. I was actually kind of worried about it. It's not the best, I think, but it's not as bad as some were saying about it. Let me try to get some good focusing in here. So, you know, there's not much detailing on here though. As far as paint goes, you know, it's a nice sculpt through and through here. But the colors, I don't know. There's something about it I'm not liking. I think the purple jacket is a little bit on the light side. I think it's too light for him. You do see a nice color, you know, variation here, but you know, it's the dark purple and the light purple. It's, you know, it's a bit different. The jacket is sculpted as like wind is blowing through, so that's pretty nice detailing there. I think it's kind of nice because, you know, he's always walking outside. There's always some wind, right? You know, so that's pretty cool. The gun, of course, is not actually included with this. I should point that out. This was from the Mattel version. I will do a comparison with it next to it. But I am definitely using the gun for this figure because he has a trigger finger and he has nothing to hold on to. Not even a knife. So, it's alright. Here is the Joker next to the Movie Masters version when The Dark Knight was coming out, and then this was one of Mattel's last figures. They did, you know, the Joker and Danny DeVito's Penguin, and they both had that dark jacket, and I think that is pretty much how it's supposed to be. I feel like McFarlane should have went for a more darker color coat here, but, you know, it's a first shot for everything, you know, so, I mean, he has a good sculpt, but I think just the paint needs to be applied better for it. The shirt on this one, I wanted to just show this, that there's a lot of detailing on the tie and on the shirt. There's actual, like, designs on there. I think that's also missing with the Joker here. I think he definitely needs it. I get it, like, probably not there yet as far as, like, paint goes, but it's an alright look for it. I just think that this should have been a darker look. And then let's see if this one doesn't have the chain that he's supposed to have. This one has it here. It's nice gold. I want to see if this one actually has it. I remembered it did. Yeah, this one does too. And actually, oh, that's just dust. First I thought this was all just, oh my god, bad, right? but shows you how often I clean my shit. But yeah, this is an alright looking figure, not my favorite. Up next is Two-Face. So Two-Face here, he's like half a good figure and half an figure. But, you know, and I'll go over that really quick here. So let's just go over the Harvey Dent side, right? So this is a pretty clean sculpt, really good looking suit, looks well dressed. The pants runs through very nicely. There's no like kind of damage or anything on this side, but then this is where you start getting the ugly, which is the good part of the figure, you could say. This is a very, very nice sculpt in his suit jacket. I think this looks fantastic. This is just awesome. And then you get a nice sculpted tie here, and pretty well articulation for this figure. The arm here, there's nothing going on here. Pretty much the same. So it only shows damage here, and then the head sculpt, that's just a very, very nice head sculpt here. As far as the burnt side of the face goes, this is just, you know, it looks like a very good burnt up Harvey Dent. But then you get to this side, and it's not the best. It's not the worst, and I'll show the comparisons of what I mean by that. But it's not the best, it's not the worst. It's kind of an in-between. So it doesn't look like the actor, you know, and it kind of looks more so like a comic-y version and not a movie version. Again, you know, it's not a nail in the head sculpt, you know. It's not 100%, but you know, I do love that how they did this though. They did do a great job with the burnt side. I did take a gun from the Halloween 2-pack. Dr. Loomis, he had like 2 revolvers in there, so I took that and I threw it with this Two-Face. It works pretty well. And as for the coin, it is sculpted in there, but I didn't pop it out yet. I was trying to, but I think I need to take like a hairdryer to it to get it off. But if you wanted to pop that hand off, you could probably use like Scarecrow's alternate hands. I already looked at it. It looked like it was a pretty similar color tone. Might not be perfect, but it's good enough if you don't want to have Two-Face carrying the coin. Here's Daddy Two-Face next to the Movie Masters version and the Mafex version, and like I said, not the worst because, you know, that's pretty bad, and then it's not the best because, damn, that's pretty damn good, right? So yeah. So wanted to point out though that they both had burns on the arms and this one doesn't, so that's where I was kind of like, that doesn't seem kind of right. Definitely seemed like he needed to have some burnt marks on the arm for sure. Now, onto the Dark Knight himself, Batman. Oh man, this figure, I'll be honest, this was probably one of the ones I was kind of least excited about because, you know, hey, it's Batman. But, you know, him is, like, he's probably one of the best figures from this set. For sure. You know, this is a beautiful looking Batman. This is just such a fantastic figure. I gotta say, this wonderful Batman head sculpt. I know there was some promo shots where it was showing like the nose was sticking out, but that's not the issue here. This is not a problem. That could have been an issue from before, but they fixed it. It's not an issue now. This is just a wonderful sculpt though of this bat armor here. It's maybe a little bit too much on the gray side. I think it should have been darker just a little bit, but it's like not too bad. It's just such a great figure though. Like he's got a nice utility belt. Dropped him. But he's got a nice utility belt. It's got the nice gold all around. It's a nice kind of metallic shiny gold to it. So that's really nice. And he comes with awesome accessories. You know, he's got a few batarangs here. They might be on the large side. I think these are kind of too big. Well, he's holding on to it. I don't think his batarangs were this big. I think they were just a bit smaller, but minor issues, right? And then he's got his grapple gun, all gold. I know, like, in the first movie, I think all of his stuff was, like, 100% just gold all around. But I feel like this should have had some black added to it. If I remember correctly, there should have been something, a little more color into it with black. But, man, what an awesome figure. I wish he did have multiple hands, though. This is a figure that definitely seems like he deserves it, because you can't really interchange anything. He's got a fist and one, you know, trigger finger. So that's that's a downside for sure, I think. I would love to have seen like more like grabbing hands, you know, more alternate punching hands for each sides, you know, grapple hands for each side so he can hold batarangs in both hands. Like that, I would have appreciated. I think that would have been a really good thing for the figure. And he's got some nice detailing in the back here. But wow, this guy is just such an awesome figure. I love it. This is such a fantastic Batman. This is probably one of my favorites from McFarlane for sure. Here is Batman next to the Mattel version of the Dark Knight. Yeah, so that had a little bit way more black compared to this one. This one's more gray. So I'm kind of indifferent about it. I think McFarlane should probably release a few more. I'm guessing he would for at least the Batman Begins version and maybe the Dark Knight Rises. You know, and obviously we have the Tumbler and his Bat Cycle in the background here. I kind of wanted to put that, so hey, maybe we'll get those in the future. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he pops up in like The Flash or something. Maybe that will be something, and then we're gonna see a bunch of Christian Bale figures, right? But very, very nice Batman figure. There's Batman next to the previous Batmans we've seen in the movies. You know, we have had recently the Robert Pattinson one, and then Ben Affleck's Batman. So, you know, these guys all together look great. I know we're going to get a Michael Keaton one, so whenever I get that Michael Keaton Batman figure, I'm definitely going to probably throw these guys back in there for a comparison too. But yeah, these just look fantastic together. I think these are really awesome. I hope McFarlane does make, and I know some of you are going to probably shake your heads, but I hope we see more Batman movie figures like George Clooney's and Val Kilmer's. I know some people might be like, but hey, you don't want a Batman with nipples on it? Well then, the same for you, pal. Now, the final villain and the Build-A-Figure of this wave is Bane. Now, Bane got some pros and has very minor cons. And I'm not sure if this is with everyone, but before I wanted to talk about, I mean, obviously, if you guys pay attention on my page before, I posted that I asked the question to McFarlane Toys if he came with interchangeable hands, and they did immediately say that he came with 6, so that is amazing. I love the idea that they're giving multiple hands for this Build-A-Figure, and they're obviously doing the same thing again with the Robin gold label, and hopefully we'll see some more. I think that would be pretty cool to see more figures have more interchangeable hands, more than just 2. I mean, 2 is better than none, but I just love the idea of having multiple hands, especially when there's figures that don't come with Build-A-Figure pieces or barely have any accessories to begin with. So it's at least something. Now, this figure, though, I'm having an issue, is that this side and this side are, like, not the same. And by what I mean by that is how it kind of plugs in to the hands. This is kind of more of like a round bump, and this is just kind of like a flat, I don't know. It's very blunt. So, if I pop this guy on with this right side here, the hand goes in easy. If I do it on the other side, it's going to take work. Like work. So I'm going to try to get one on here, but it's pretty hard. I've been trying already, and that's why I didn't put the hands together. So I think I have to do is pop this out and then flip it and switch it back in. So I don't know if that's a universal problem. So I took a hairdryer to the hand here. I pulled out the peg, I flipped it back, so now it's actually reversed. And there we go. I got the hand in, and it was much more easier because that thing was not going to work. So it plugs in very nicely. Now I can go and actually look at the figure. So the head sculpt is very good. I think it has a really nice resemblance to like Tom Hardy's Bane. I think that get back in focus. The mask, it seems a bit more gray. I think there could have been a little bit more detail with the tubes here. But you know, I mean, maybe a silver marker or whatever can adjust that. But overall, though, with the sculpt of the helmet or the mask, is pretty good. You know, Bane definitely looks like a nice figure. You know, it's funny, I was just thinking about this, that if this movie was released in like 2022, it'd probably be like some COVID propaganda film. With the vest here, it's kind of pretty much a base color. You know, there's only two color tones, like a darker brown and a light brown. So, you know, pretty nice. And back here, you get some good straps. A lot of nice sculpting throughout here. Got some belt buckles. No, nothing's really painted. It's just kind of like that same base color. So not too much on color variation. But it is a nice sculpt overall. The pants look pretty good. It's a little dark around the knee pads here. So it gets more black compared to where it's brown. And the boots, you can see there's some nice sculpting here with the bootlaces. I do love that McFarlane got away from the ball joints, because this is just really nice how the figure can kind of look, you know, less break of articulation, but still maintaining the same articulation there. I think that's really nice. The back here kind of looks a little baggy. I understand his pants are pretty baggy, though, so it doesn't look too bad. We've seen worse. What was it? Bloodsport, I'm thinking about you. The glove here, very nice. Got some nice straps going on around here. So that looks pretty good. And the other alternate hands, you know, I'm sure they show the same sculpt. But, you know, here it's pretty basic. The skin tone, I think, is really accurate. It seems like it's weird and painted on, but that's exactly how it looked like in the movie. I think that was because Tom Hardy had a bunch of tattoos and they had to like cover it up so it looked always weird. So that kind of gives that same effect here. I don't know why, I just get that feeling from it. But you know, overall though, like, yeah, this is a good Build-A-Figure. I'm glad we got so many hands. I like the, you know, the trigger fingers. I mean, you know, that was kind of expected we're gonna get, but I wasn't too happy with the like pointing fingers. So it looks like he's trying to be like Colin Robinson and be an energy vampire, you know. I don't know why he'd be making that kind of hand gesture. I think like a more of like an angry grab hand would have been better. But I mean, you know, yeah, I mean, whatever. Hey, I'm happy we do get the choice. So very, very nice to have that at least. Bane next to the movie master versions of him, you know, and back then I was upset because we never had the version that McFarlane did. The more popular look one, to me at least. I mean, the jacket was a great one as well. But, you know, I definitely wanted that cross between both of them, and we never got that. So I'm glad to see that actually come out. And obviously the one in the jacket should be another version McFarlane's going to make. I don't think he's going to make that a mega figure or anything. Hopefully not. But, you know, maybe we can get something cool, like maybe like a broken Batman mask thrown in there instead of hands, since we clearly got the extras to use if you get the set. But you know, very, very nice, and definitely love the detail on this figure. That is it with this figure review. Overall though, it is a great wave. As far as favoritism goes, I think Batman was the best figure from the set. Second, Scarecrow. Third, Bane. Fourth, Joker. Fifth, Two-Face. Scarecrow, you know, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, he's my favorite, so he was going to be up there, but can't ignore the fact of how great the Batman figure is. So that is all I have to say. If you guys did want to get these figures, I think a couple of them are still up on the McFarlane Toy Store. Otherwise, they've sold out. Then there's a few other places, I think like Amazon or Target, probably they have them there. So I hope you guys did enjoy this figure review. So make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And share this channel out, Facebook groups. You know, it's really helpful for me to get this video out there, guys. So if you do, you know, I really do appreciate y'all watching. And put down in the comments, what do you guys think of this set? Who do you want to see McFarlane release some more? I already threw in my bit about Scarecrow with the whole suit thing. So put down in the comments who you want to see next. So I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you all next time.